Good morning, 8th graders. Good to see you. We are continuing our reading of Greatest Treasure Hunt in History. And we are going to begin at the bottom of page 183. And the section where we're beginning is In Transit to Recklinghausen, Germany, April 4th, 1945. While Hancock and Stout were in Siegen inspecting the repository, Captain Walter Hutchhausen and his new assistant and driver, monuments man T5 Sheldon Keck, were investigating reports of a looted altarpiece. After stopping at 9th Army Forward Headquarters to check the situation map, Hutch and Keck headed to the town of Recklinghausen, about 80 miles northwest of Siegen. Hutch thrived in his assignment to 9th Army. His work at the Austrian Cathedral, overseeing repairs to the roof, shoring up the choir buttresses, and covering empty window frames, had drawn the attention of a reporter who was curious about the motivation of an American soldier determined to preserve a German landmark. Hutch, welcoming the question, smiled and said, "It may seem strange to some people that while we are still fighting the Germans, we should be restoring their monuments. But pilgrims from all over the world come to Austrian Cathedral in the Middle Ages. 30 kings were crowned there. It has survived every European war since the 7th century and has an historical significance which transcends political and economic difference. It is architecturally unique, and it is our duty to preserve it for generations to come." Then he thought about his answer for a couple of seconds and realized that there was an even simpler response. Looking the reporter in the eye, he added, "Austrian Cathedral belongs to the world, and if we can prevent it from falling in ruins among the rest of Austrian rubble, then we are doing a service to the world." The February arrival of Keck, an accomplished art restorer who had studied under George Stout at Harvard's Fogg Museum, and the availability finally of a Jeep enabled Hutch to make dozens of inspections in Dutch towns and villages along the border, as well as inside Western Germany, even while Allied forces continued their advance. Gradually, the character of his work shifted. Rather than initiating inspections, Hutch found himself more frequently responding to requests for assistance, like the one he and Keck were on their way to investigate. Reaching Recklinghausen around 3:00 p.m., Hutch and Keck were unable to locate a possible road north. While stubbornly backpedaling, Wehrmacht troops had been executing the Führer's scorched earth policy, destroying German bridges, roads, and all other infrastructure that might slow the Allied advance. Seeking an alternative route north, the two monuments men headed south out of town until they reached the Autobahn, the world's first freeway network. There they turned left, hoping to use the high-speed road to find a northbound route not blocked by rubble or debris. The sudden absence of U.S. Army markers on the highway indicated they were in an area where combat operations had recently ended or might still be underway. On the smooth road, the Jeep's engine roared as the duo passed under 3 overhead bridges, hoping to find one that might lead them north to 19 Corps territory. Farther ahead, although difficult to make out, something appeared to be blocking their path. As they got closer, Keck slowed to a crawl. Wehrmacht troops had detonated the bridge, making the highway impassable. Keck started to make a U-turn when he noticed the helmets of U.S. troops who were peering at them over the northern embankment. Seeking directions, Keck stopped. At that moment, machine gunfire from enemy troops hiding near the bridge sprayed the right side of the Jeep, perforating the hood. "They are firing at us," Keck screamed. Out of the corner of his eye, as he instinctively jumped from the vehicle, Keck saw Hutch shift in his seat as if he, too, were preparing to jump. Two infantry in a nearby foxhole pulled Keck into their defensive position while simultaneously firing in the direction of the overpass rubble. "Captain," he yelled, "Captain!" But there was no reply. All Keck could see from the foxhole was a column of black smoke rising above the Jeep. However, an entryman in the foxhole farther east could see what Keck could not. The right side of the burning vehicle, with Captain Hutchhausen still in his seat, motionless, bleeding from the ear. Amid the danger and chaos of bullets flying back and forth, acrid smoke belching out of the Jeep, and incoming enemy artillery fire now that their position had been spotted, the entryman crawled the distance to Keck. "Your captain is dead, Corporal," the shoulder shouted over the sound of the German buzzsaw. "Head wound. He's white as snow." Incoming artillery fire and the location of the Jeep rendered medical assistance impossible, even if medics had been standing by. After about 45 minutes, the artillery fire diminished enough for Keck to make his way to the company command post, where he requested medical assistance for Hutchhausen and filed his report. But by that time, medics had arrived and removed the body. 36 excruciating hours passed before Keck received confirmation that his captain and friend was indeed dead. Plenty of time to replay the dramatic and tragic events in his head over and over again. It all happened in an instant, with such fury and confusion. But this much Keck knew for certain. By inadvertently shielding him from enemy fire, Walter Hutchhausen had saved his life. The news of a second death among the monument's men serving in Northern Europe, 2 out of an initial 9, spread slowly to the other men in the field. To Keller and Hart preparing for the start of the spring offensive in Italy, to Mason Hammond and the other senior officers at SHAVE headquarters in London, and finally to Paul Sox and the members of the Roberts Commission who had approved Hutchhausen's selection. Some nights later, Walter Hancock took out pen and paper to share the news with his wife, Seema. The buildings that Hutchhausen hoped, as a young architect, to build will never exist. But the few people who saw him at his job, friend and enemy, must think more of the human race because of him. We'll stop there. And we will begin on page 188. This is just a very gripping story, and I think it's even more gripping because it's true. So thank you for reading along, and I'll see you later. Thanks so much for listening. Take care of yourselves. Bye.